Welcome to the January 22nd, 2025 meeting of the Fall River Redevelopment Authority. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recording or transmission are being made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. First item is a roll call. John Erickson.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Ron Rusin.
Joan Maderas.
Ann Keane.
Thank you. Also participating, Sarah Page, Executive Director, John Coughlin, Legal Counsel, Ken Viola, Administrative Consultant, and Karen Martin, Project Manager. First item is approval of our open session minutes from December 18th, 2024.
Motion to accept the open session meetings for December's board meeting.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
John Erickson, yes.
Ms. Gonzalez, yes.
Ron Rusin, yes.
Joan Maderas, yes.
Ann Keane, yes.
Thank you. Next item is the warrant, which, Joan, you did this, right?
Yes.
You looked at that? Yeah. So, any questions on the warrant? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to move warrant for January for $53,305.06.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. John Erickson, yes.
Ms. Gonzalez, yes.
Ron Rusin, yes.
Joan Maderas, yes.
Ann Keane, yes.
Okay. Joan is going to discuss the fiscal year 2023 audit update.
Do you want to do the executive session meeting, minute meeting?
We can't do that until we get to executive session.
Was that?
We can't do that until we get to
Okay.
executive session.
I just seen that four on the list, so I'll just.
No problem.
Yeah.
Moving it along, Ron, I like it.
That's to December 11th.
Were you
Right.
surprised, Joan, that that's on there?
No, no one had tagged me about discussing it, because I know you and Karen had talked to them more than I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So-
wondering. I think we didn't realize we didn't check that out with you.
I think it's all pretty much in this letter, right?
It's pretty self-explanatory.
It is,
You know,
yeah.
we had, we did have to address, the issue of, 2501 South Main, and I think they did a good job of getting that all resolved, for the audit this year, because of us receiving the full payment from the school department on that property. But I think we should, a huge thanks to Sarah and Karen that we are up to date on all of our audits, and we're looking at getting 2024 rolling.
Mhm.
So when we
Nice.
first joined this board, we were way behind on this whole thing. So you guys have done yeoman's work, and I think we're in great shape with our auditors now.
That's good.
So that's probably the most substantial issue of the entire audit.
Does one of us need to sign this?
Yeah, we're gonna need to take a vote.
Joan.
Joan and Sarah.
Okay.
sign the, presentation
So
of it.
I'll entertain a motion to direct the CLA, the firm, to finalize the 2023 audit, and based on Joan's approval, will authorize the executive director and treasurer to sign the CLA representation letter accepting the 2023 audit.
Motion to accept the 2023 audit by Clifton Lawson Allen for year 2023.
Second?
Second.
John Harrison, yes.
Ms. Gonzalez, yes.
Ron Rusin, yes.
Joan Maderas, yes.
Ann Keane, yes.
Thank you.
I want to just add one thing to what you said, Joan, and that's that we've been
No, city.
cited a couple of years that we
Right,
needed to have a
she doesn't have to do a report.
financial policy and procedure manual.
Mm-hmm.
And Karen has worked really hard on one and has it, is getting feedback from both our accountant from Norman, Graham and DeGangi, and from our accountant, our auditor, and it's really exciting that that's
Yeah, good.
just about done.
Yeah, I received all the comments back, so now I'm just merging it all into the one document. And then
Okay.
once that's done, I'm gonna send out as like a final draft.
Yep.
I'll make sure you get a
Thank
copy
you.
of it. And it'll be something we'll have to eventually vote on and incorporate into like an annual review and vote.
Right.
So, and that'll probably be done about the same time we're doing the audit, just to make it
Yep.
consistent, so.
Yes.
It's,
Okay, great.
It was a bit of a job, but it's done.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
Yeah, so included in your package was this letter from January 9th, which is basically a quote for the next year's audit. So I need a motion to accept that quote, which is $34,000.
No, the quote's, the quote is actually for the audit,
26,000,
26.5.
okay, sorry.
I had just asked her to give us a price now that we've got some federal grant money. HUD may, depending on how much federal grant work we do in a specific fiscal year, could trigger an individual HUD audit, and I just wanted to get an idea of the cost for that.
Okay,
So
so
she just put in the same letter.
So it's 26.5 then?
It's 26.5 for the 2024
Okay.
audit, which is $500 more than last year's audit, so.
So I just need a motion to approve that 26.5 quote.
And who's doing the audit, same Carlson's?
Clifton Larson Allen,
Clifton,
yeah.
yep, okay. And it's 26,500?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that all year long, or is that just for the audit at the end of the year?
Just the audit.
Just the
Audit.
audit.
Is that a good price? I don't know if that's a good price or not. Talk to me, just make a
Yeah, I
motion.
don't either.
On
How
something,
much
that's
is it?
It's the same, wasn't it?
26,500.
It's about going right.
That's what we pay,
Yeah.
that's what we
Yeah.
pay for our audit.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
This
Yeah, and the accountant says it's reasonable. She
Yeah.
used to be an auditor, so.
Mhm.
Yeah. And he's done a couple of other organizations.
Yeah,
That's-
it's not
that's in
easy.
the brain.
These
No.
are specialized audits.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who would sign, the treasurer or the president? Who would sign that, who's looking to get that signed?
The chair.
The chair's gonna sign it?
Yeah, the chair's what's gonna sign that, yeah.
Okay, motion to approve Clifton Lawson Allen doing the 2024 audit for a cost of 26,500 with given permission for the chair to sign.
Second?
Second.
Jackson, yes.
Louis Gonzalez, yes.
Ron Rushin, yes?
Joan Maderos, yes.
And Keen, yes.
Thank you. Karen's going to speak to cathodic protection at the Norton Pier and then the Northfield Point mooring field, and the mooring fields.
Yes. So the cathodic protection work is, actually, we've made a lot of progress since our last meeting. We just yesterday got the draft package of all the field studies and recommendations and draft plans for the cathodic protection work. And we also got a budget of what the construction costs would be, and then information on, I don't know if you remember at the last meeting, we talked about potentially adding coating to the exposed steel above the mean high water line, just to give us some added protection in some areas. So we just literally got that yesterday, and we gotta start reviewing it, and then we'll make some final decisions, and we're gonna start pulling together the bid documents and the bid package. And our, the plan that we laid out, we'd like to get the request for construction proposals out on the street April 3rd, with an on-site pre-bid meeting April 10th, and with the bid date due of April 17th. And then we'd like to bring it to the April board meeting, and hopefully be able to award the contract early May with construction to start in June. And it's anticipated to be a roughly 3-month project once construction starts. But it shouldn't really impact anything above the city pier, like on city pier proper. They're gonna be working off of a float in the water the whole time, and they're gonna probably dock their boat at the transient docks at the end of the workday, and then, just work from there. But there should not be any disturbance above ground. And it looks like that just the cathodic protection work, the design we've already figured in, but it's gonna be like 109 anodes they figured out, and their budget for that puts it well within our budgeted price that we have for the grant. So that's why we're looking at potentially adding some of that coating above the mean high water line to add some more protection. The notice of intent for Conservation Commission was submitted today for their February 3rd. It'll be on their February 3rd docket meeting, so hopefully that should go well. Their permitting person had already spoke to Dan. She had Dan Aguirre, the city Concom person. She had some questions, and they spoke about it, so she addressed those in the application, so hoping that that'll go through no problem. And so it looks like we're gonna be a little bit ahead of schedule on that one.
Nice.
So, yeah,
The only thing I would say on that is,
I still owe to get you that stuff.
yeah, you're gonna say
Yeah.
that. Maybe get them started on the northern pier first, where our
Where
transit.
the transit,
So
and they'll
that
be,
way-
yeah, and they're
so
gonna be.
that way we get that done early in the season as
Yeah.
opposed to later in the season.
Yeah, and they're gonna be working in between the dock
And
and
the,
where
yeah.
the piling is, yeah, the steel piling is, so,
Great.
yeah. Northfield Point, it's trucking along, so we, right now with Northfield Point, Sarah had a conversation with the state fishery and wildlife people, regarding that big one grant that we put in to cover the work for the 3 mooring fields and the new dinghy dock. And he pretty much said that we're gonna get that grant, and that it's probably gonna be announced probably in February, right? He said like within a couple of
Yeah.
weeks. So if we get that grant, that's a huge relief off of the stress of some of the construction costs for the overall project. We have a meeting this Friday with Beta, to talk about how we can potentially think about phasing the work so we can get the construction done. It looks like the only grant that we're probably gonna be able to apply for is the Seaport Economic Council grant. And their grant, I got some email communication back and forth with Ellen Sabula, their regional person. It's gonna open on June 1st, it'll close June 30th, and then they're gonna award the bid, the grant in August. So it doesn't look like we'll probably see any real work on Northfield Point in potentially 2025. It may have to push to 2026, depending on if we get the award, depending on if we can get it right out to bid and back, so.
Is it a reimbursement grant? If it's a reimbursement, so you can get, once they announce the grant to you, you can get started, they'll just reimburse you.
Yeah, then we'd have to put it out for bid.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
so if you think the award's in the spring,
No, August.
August, why, I thought you said,
No, so we apply for the grant June 1st, it closes June 30th,
I'm sorry.
and they award it in August, so.
that's the one you think you're gonna get?
No, the one we're gonna get is the big one.
That's right.
From the feds, and that, we're hopefully, Cecil gave us an indication that we're gonna hear about that very soon.
And which work will that consist of?
That will consist of the mooring fields and the dinghy dock.
you
And
can
we
put-
should be able to
You
do
can
that
put that
this
out
year.
this year?
Yes,
Yeah,
that we can
okay,
put
that's
out
right,
this year,
that's-
yes.
I was confused.
Yeah, so
I
that,
apologize.
but we won't see any specific work at Northfield Point.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So, so that's where we are over at Old City Pier. It's all cold and buttoned up now. It was on the cameras today, it looks freezing over there.
You guys had 2 maps of the 615 Innovation Way and the revision. From what I can tell, it just added a few loading docks on the, I guess that would be the south side of the building. Is there anything else involved in that, Sarah, or did I miss something else?
No, I mean, I basically said, okay, I know that, Dan has reviewed the site plan and is fine with it. When we approved the project, back when, Hutchins was building the big front building, he showed us, and we have in the, it's in the LDA that,
Can I turn a phone?
Yeah.
I made copies if anyone wants, does
Yeah,
anyone
that would
want a
be great.
copy? I made a copy of what was approved in the LDA and then a site plan, is in,
Yeah, I'll
okay.
take one.
so basically, when the LDA was completed, he knew he wanted to do an addition. Now he's doing this big addition on the back. And so we're looking at the plan that was in the LDA compared to his site plan. And the only real changes we see are, the refrigerated loading dock and spaces for trucks to load. It's on the side, it's at the back of the site, it's not, you know, on the front of the building, so I don't think any more screening is needed. But we're not trying to totally approve this because we still have to do a covenant review when he submits the full building plans to the building department. So this is just kind of an update for you to know and kind of give an initial okay.
So my question is, when he puts that loading dock over there, is that path is just gonna go, they're gonna go around the trucks? You see how it's like going straight where the trucks go?
He'll
Instead of
have,
going through the trucks?
yeah, he'll have to make some accommodation for that because that's a fire department requirement that you get all around that building, so.
Yeah, I think,
He'll have to make some.
I think that's just, I don't know why it's depicted that way, but that parking lot would expand.
Yeah.
Because you gotta get the, unless he's bringing in the trucks the opposite way.
It does show the parking lot
Not gonna be the back
expanded a
up and
little
walk
bit.
in.
What's that?
They won't be to come from this way and then back up and go into the loading dock, I don't think. It looks like it's a very tight spot there.
Yeah, it looks like it's
It looks like
extended
he's
past the old
expanded,
one.
yeah, it looks like he's
Yeah.
expanded
Those parking
that
spots are
parking
60
a
feet
little bit.
each, I didn't realize that. 60, so there's another 60 in front, so it's 120 feet from the loading dock to the back line over there.
Mhm.
So that's more enough room for a
To turn.
truck to get in and turn back in.
Yeah.
But also, on the front page, it's like a little small speckled box, and all of a sudden, there's 108 foot. What's that other box in the back gonna be now?
Isn't that the refrigeration unit?
Refrigeration?
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
added,
that's,
Because you got the road in front of it, and then there's another box, but there's a box that was off of the front page, like in
To the right.
dotted lines, but it's gone in the next one.
it's a larger refrigeration unit because you added the
Yeah.
71,000 square feet.
Okay.
Ron, are you talking about the thing way in the back?
Yeah,
Yeah, behind, where the proposed freezer is, right off of it, there's like a little
Talking about
dotted
this,
line
right?
over here.
he had
Yeah.
a dotted
Yeah, it
line
went
on
from
the
here- it went from
original
this
plan,
to
and now
this.
it's
Well,
that
when
big.
That's a gravel,
expand-
that's a gravel parking area.
Yeah, it says proposed gravel overflow trailer parking area.
I think that's just gravel
When
and
you
not,
expand it.
not paved.
But from the front page to the back page, you got twice the size, that's why I was just
Right,
wondering,
right,
yeah.
right, yeah, I agree with you.
And it's behind the actual driveway that you're gonna be used to go all the way around.
Right.
yeah, this parking, I thought it was the expanded.
I don't see a problem with it.
So we don't really need to do
That must be
anything now.
something to pull the trucks over to the side or something.
Yeah.
It
Or
just
you
looks
got
like-
somebody in a queue or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like an extra gravel area.
Yeah, it says it's an overflow trailer parking area.
They probably,
They like stores
I
and
can't
stuff
read it,
there,
yeah,
too.
overflow.
Yeah,
Flowing trailer.
proposed trailer, proposed gravel overflow trailer parking area.
Okay.
Ken, I think the refrigeration you're looking at is the thing next to
I
it.
think so, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
That's the other one.
Yeah.
So we don't really need to do anything right now
So
till the
no
drawings
votes on
come in?
this, we're
No.
just for information.
Okay. 191 Commerce Drive, Sarah?
Well, the property is sold for $380,000, and that project is behind us, and that piece of land that was so difficult to sell is finally gone, and for a good purpose, so that's really good.
Pleasant
That's a
Street?
bakery. 191 Commerce Gold
Yep.
Medal, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
It's closed?
It's not.
yes.
Oh, nice.
Yep, money's in the bank.
Sure is.
So the Pleasant Street Urban Renewal Plan, we're continuing to revise our urban renewal plan to resubmit it to MEPA as we discussed in some previous meetings. And I think the next issue here is Emily's proposal to extend and increase her contract. I think she did a good job explaining the reasons. And I want to just give some context that our colleagues around the state who are going through the same situation where they're dealing with this new MEPA review that is really onerous, they're all looking at around 55,000, 50,000 or more to to get through this expanded environmental notification form and then this single environmental impact report, which is what we're working on now. And so we are proposing that we spend 11,120 of that 50,000 or so cost to get through NEPA, and 40,000 of it is being covered by mass housing. So they paid 20,000 for the EENF that Ty and Bond worked on. Now they're willing to put in another 20,000+ to get us through our final SEIR NEPA review. So we're being asked to add 11,120, whereas the whole cost is over 50,000.
So, so I need a motion to accept the quote from Innis, January 14th, in the total of $11,120.
So that's an extra $11,120, and it's been coming from our board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's added to a contract that we signed back in, what, 21? You know, this has been going on, and only when we got this recent, well, we made a decision about how to best approach going back to MEPA with this environmental impact report, and that then required quite a bit of work on Emily's part. But we think we've got the most efficient approach to deal with MEPA.
And that's a great price? I don't know, so I'm asking.
Yeah, I think it is. It's pretty much in line with, you know, what other people are paying for, you know, paying their consultants to do this work. And, you know, she's been dealing with MEPA work. You know, when she signed her contract in 2021, this MEPA rule was not in place. And when we started getting into this, we had Ty and Bond charging 20,000 to do the work on it. And it's not as if Emily wasn't pulled in over and over for meetings and strategy. So she's been, since 2021, working on a project that was never understood in her contract. And it's only now that we're really revising what we hired her to do, that she's saying, you know, I really need my staff and I to get this amount more. And I think it's totally reasonable.
Her letter delineates also that it's like 60 man-hours of work, and plus she's had to update a lot of figures and rewrite certain portions of the urban renewal plan. So I think that the effort is there, and that price is reasonable divided by the hours and everything, so.
I agree. I think for $11,000, you're gonna be able to close, at least make some serious headway on this MEPA issue that we need to do.
Yeah.
And don't forget, this project has had the benefit of other money coming into it. So the Redevelopment Authority had pretty substantial savings on this overall initiative through additional CDBG and state funding for this project. So we're in a win-win situation here as it pertains to the outlay of capital for the urban renewal plan.
Okay, motion to move the January 14th letter from Innes Associates revising the contract $11,120 for the MEPA report.
And
Second.
authorize the chair to sign.
Was that?
And authorize the chair
And
to sign.
authorize the chair to sign.
Second? John Erickson, yes.
Wisconsin, yes.
Ron Rusin, yes.
Joan Maderis, yes.
Ann Kane, yes.
Thank you. Let's see.
Thanks.
Duval Street corridor, master plan.
Yeah, there isn't too much to report here. We have the final draft of the master plan, which we're all reviewing, and we're getting comments to Stantec at the end of the week. And so that's great that we're at that point. And we have now met with all of the developers that were suggested to us and have really benefited from their input. And a lot of them are expressing serious interest, so that's really good news. So we're kind of winding down that project, and we'll be sending you the master plan once that's finished.
Any word from the governor on a letter where that's going, the state's going, what they decided that?
We're gonna discuss that later as a real estate issue in the executive session.
Okay, thank you.
And then I'll report on the north downtown. So you remember that at Christmas time, Louis and Johnny joined us for a gathering that we had to look at how far the TDI work in our downtown district had gone and what our next steps were. And we delineated, we being kind of this TDI partnership that's been working together for about 5 years. And originally we were focused on South Main, and now we've delineated a real targeted focus of Purchase Street, North Main, over to Troy Street. And we've got a working group with our new TDI fellow. And so we had a meeting January 16th, last Thursday. Johnny joined us, the mayor came, and there were a few really good outcomes of that meeting, which I just want to share with you. So we reviewed the spring one-stop application funding opportunities that might be applicable to that north downtown area. And we're going to work on that more in our February meeting. The applications for one-stop grants are not until June, but you start now identifying what you might want to go after. I think the most interesting results of the meeting were the breakout sessions. And there was a lot of consensus on the activities that are being planned for good weather. Outdoor, small little concerts on the patio that is in front of the new Viva store that Joseph Holdeman put in recently, and the possibility of closing the street sometimes, or a small part of the street, and really pulling all the restaurants together. There's a lot of interest of, Belmont Club, the St. James, Tequila Lime, Jerry's, all, or not Jerry's, Dunny's.
Dunny's.
Yeah.
All collaborating on having people kind of go restaurant to restaurant or bring their food out for these gatherings. So there's a lot of interest in that, and the goal is to really make them vibrant and exciting and really get people downtown in the evenings. And they probably will need more money. So that was, one of the focuses. How are we going to find more funding for the entertainers, for beautification? So I think Johnny wants to speak to that a little bit. And then there's definitely concern about some of the recent incidents that have occurred on North Main Street, right across from Bank 5, and Bank 5 staff being concerned about walking around after work to their cars and things. So We've reached out to the police department. The chief of police has said that it's possible through a new neighborhood engagement team that's been created to really put a walking patrol at times on North Main Street. And that's what people were really asking for. And then the other issue is that the recent incidents have been linked to some of the people who hang around outside of the library. So the group is looking at having discussions with the library, local shelters and rooming houses, and seeing if we can address where people might go other than right in front of the library. And another discussion was the linkage of Troy Street to these two blocks of, these number of blocks of North Main and Purchase. If you're walking down Bedford Street, you're walking basically by lots of parking lots. It's not lit well at night, and so we think that working with Dan and the city on maybe finding ways to make that a more inviting walking back and forth would be a really good idea. So, Johnny, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, no, I just think there's a lot of energy there from all the different proprietors of the different shops and restaurants and things there. So I just we want to try to keep a pulse on what the progress that they're making, and then maybe there's some ways in the future we can support them and help them, because I think that whole area is kind of like a diamond in the rough. It's kind of like has a lot of good components, but it's not like all together. You live there, you know what I mean.
I'm there every day. We want the pink bean to come back, that's what we want.
You want what?
The
Coffee
pink,
shop.
the pink bean to come back.
Yeah, but you have Time Blossom expanding.
No, it's good.
Yeah, so, yeah, but it's encouraging, all the
Yeah.
energy they have, so it's nice to see that, so.
What were the incidents? I must have missed something. I don't mean, what's the incidents they're worried about in front of Bank 5?
There was a stabbing in the street,
What was that? Didn't even hear that.
and what else?
It was a few months ago.
I'll say. We just had Matt Rife show up Sunday at Belmont Club, one of the top comedians in the whole country.
Oh, wow.
Just unexpectedly showed up at the Belmont Club. Well, they had a comedy show going on.
Oh,
They
really?
sold it out 30 people. Sold out 30 people. And Matt Rife shows, I paid $300 to go see him, and they get to hear him for free.
He lives in Providence. He lives in Rhode Island.
He lives in Rhode Island, yeah.
What inspired him to come over?
Fun 107 was there, so I guess he partnered with Fun 107, and they brought him over there. It was a news break. I just read it quickly.
Neat.
But he's one of my favorites. So
An
it's funny that he was a
older
Toro-
guy?
Young kid.
No, young kid.
Oh,
Like
okay, I'm thinking of
30s, less than, probably under 40.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
nice.
Ah.
If there's no further matters for the open session, the chair makes a finding that open session would have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. The purpose of the executive session is to approve the executive session minutes from December 18th, 2024, discuss strategy with respect to a potential real estate transaction for property located at the Wall Street corridor. I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session, and we will not return to open session.
Motion to go to executive session.
Second?
Second.
John Erickson, yes.
Wisconsin's first.
Ron Rusin, yes.
Joan Maderis, yes.
And Kim,
Thank you.